The sun sparkled off Suhasini's gold medal, a heavy weight of promise against her chest. Her graduation gown fluttered like wings in the campus breeze, and her parents' faces were radiant with the certainty that the world belonged to her. But the world was silent. As the months crawled by, that golden promise tarnished. Each day brought a new silence, or worse, the cold sting of rejection. Suhasini sat on a weathered park bench, the vibrant green of the trees mocking her stagnation. Her phone screen glowed in the dimming light, displaying a relentless string of "We regret to inform you" emails. She stared at her own reflection in the dark glass, seeing only a stranger with slumped shoulders and hollow eyes. The weight of failure felt like an anchor, pulling her into the depths of her own despair. A shadow fell across the grass as a young man in a simple cream shirt sat down beside her. He did not ask for her story or offer shallow platitudes. He simply gazed at the distant horizon, his presence as steady as a mountain. When he finally spoke, his voice carried a resonance that seemed to vibrate through the very air. He recited a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, his words falling like rain on parched earth. "Lift yourself by your own mind," he said. "Never let yourself fall. For the mind is your greatest friend, but it can also be your most relentless enemy." Suhasini looked up, startled by the directness of his wisdom. He didn't turn to face her. He kept his eyes on the swaying trees, letting the ancient truth settle into the silence between them. His words hit her with the force of a physical blow, shattering her self-pity. She stood up, wiped the tears from her face, and walked home with a new fire burning in her chest. That night, the glow of her laptop replaced the darkness of her thoughts. She spent hours in the quiet of the night, mastering complex software and refining her techniques until her fingers moved with instinctive precision. The cycle of failure didn't break because the world changed, but because she did. She stopped fearing the rejection emails, viewing them no longer as judgments, but as stepping stones. She practiced her interviews in front of the mirror until her answers flowed without a hint of hesitation. She was no longer a victim of her circumstances. She was the architect of her own mind. Her internal enemy had finally become her most powerful ally. One Tuesday, the phone buzzed with a different rhythm. She read the offer letter once, then twice, her heart racing. She sprinted to the kitchen to show her parents, their shared joy overwhelming and bright. Yet, amidst the celebration, her first thought flew back to the park. She raced to the bench, breathless and eager to thank the man who had redirected her soul. But the bench was empty. The park was wrapped in a profound, unnatural silence. Beneath the tree where he had sat, she found a single wooden flute resting on the grass. As her fingers touched the cool, polished wood, the air began to shimmer with a golden, ethereal light. The memory of the young man dissolved into a magnificent vision. It was Lord Krishna himself, his peacock feather crown glowing brilliantly against the rising dawn. In a flash of divine light, he vanished into the morning mist. Suhasini stood alone in the soft warmth of the sunrise, the flute still held firmly in her hand. The silence was no longer empty. It was full of a peace she had never known. She realized then that the stranger hadn't given her success. He had simply reminded her that the strength she sought had been hers all along. The divine hadn't descended to do the work for her, but to show her that she was her own greatest savior. As she looked out at the horizon, the same one the stranger had watched, she smiled. She was ready for the world, not because she had a job, but because she finally possessed herself.